Some of us are too much in our feminine energy because we like to be lazy. Thank you for getting me to this point. I got it from here. Even if you don't feel like you got it, you got it. You have to have it. You're only responsible for your half of what you bring to the table. You can't be responsible for what somebody else brings to the table. I don't know how far back all of that went, the generational trauma, but it was up to me to break it. Really it. Because if you feel like you're cool, if you know you're cool and you act like you're cool, other people will treat you like you're cool. This whole thing is just about figuring out what makes you happy. Welcome back to It There Cleaniomi. Today I wanted to talk about the advice I would give my younger self. I am 28 and I've only been on my spiritual journey for about 3-4 years. And the advice that I would give my younger self would be within these cards. This oracle reading that I'm about to give y'all. Alright. So usually I do a life advice kind of style video or an oracle reading. And today I wanted to blend the two and try this new format. So we're going to jump into the the cards. But before I start, I will just quickly say that I did pre-pluck these cards and I have a sense of what they say, but this is the advice that I would give my younger self, like without a shadow of a doubt. Definitely number one is have boundaries. That's the first and foremost, the number one thing that I work on the most is have boundaries with myself, with others. Number two would be don't be afraid to go after what you want in life. And in order to do that, you have to put an action into those manifestations for them to come to fruition. And don't be afraid to, number three, don't be afraid to open up to others. So those are the things that I would tell my younger self. Okay. And this reading here, I when I plucked it, I wanted to, like, I had my audience in mind. What do they need to know? Like, what would they want to tell their younger self? Like, you guys already know what you would want to tell your younger self. This is just going to be some confirmations that, like, maybe you didn't realize that you needed to tell your younger self that in order to, like, forego some kind of healing and transformation in your life. So the first one we have is Solar Calm, and it says clarify. That is going to be clarify the mission that you have in life. What is it that you want out of life? Make sure it's not what other people have made you believe what you want out of life. Make sure that you're doing things that are in alignment with what lights you up, what makes you feel like you want to get out of bed in the morning, what excites you, what is something that you would like to do potentially the rest of your life here and not get bored of it. Clarify what it is that what makes life worth living to you. And if it's not in alignment with what your parents want, what your friends want, what your partner wants, what your old self wants, and what your present self wants, then you need to do some reorganizing and sifting through what it is to be a people pleaser potentially, and what it is that you think that could transform your life in those around you if you were to go like full force with it. For me, that was having a spiritual business. It was creating content and figuring out like what that content was and how I wanted to come across to people and how I wanted my soul mission to be laid out in front of me. I had to be active in all of that. The second card is motion, and that's kind of going in tandem with what the first one was clarify. So you need, in order to, actually I would just say that's step number 2 is motion. Once you understand what it is you want, then you can start putting some action and some motion behind it. But that strength that you desire to have, it's already inside of you. You have to tap into it. And we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. Some of us are too much in our feminine energy because we like to be lazy. And I'm not talking about resting and just, having time of relaxing, but literally just being lazy, like not doing anything, not putting any effort into anything that you want to do. And if that's you, I highly suggest you go back to step number one, which is clarify what you want in life. And to do that, you might need to isolate yourself. It is very possible you might need to cut some people off, or just distance yourself for a short while, or however long it takes. Listen, there's no right or wrong way to do this. All I know is what works for me, and what worked for me and what worked for others was really getting to that point where you can be alone with yourself and be okay, and realize what it is you need for yourself to fulfill yourself. What self-care do you need to be doing every day that fulfills you, that makes you feel like, oh, I'm on track with what I want to be doing, with where I'm going, so you can have a clear mind and not have everything that's going on in your life around you bog you down. And when, life does happen, it's still important to be like, okay, this XYZ is happening to me and around me. How am I going to respond to that? What can I do now, or what can I do tomorrow that's going to propel me forward? What can I do that's going to help my future self down the line? What's going to help propel this soul mission that I came here to fulfill? And that's a you thing. I can't answer that for you. You have to answer that for yourself. And to do that, you do need to get clear about what it is you want to do. Number 3 is sensitize. And I think this is really more of about balance than it is about anything else. There's a yin and yang energy within this card, and I really think this balance goes back to literally what I just said, is having masculine and feminine energy. What can you do that is gonna propel you forward, but also we're not meant to just be working. And this is something that I often still struggle with, is overworking myself. I do 4 10 to 12 hour shifts a week, so I can have 3 days off, so I can work on my business and do my writing for my book series and edit and film and work on my content creation and relax. And it can be a lot, and I can really get down on myself still about, oh, I'm not doing enough. But the answer that I had to that was, okay, if I feel like I'm not doing enough, that usually means I'm doing too much. That means that I'm putting my attention and my efforts into too many baskets, and so I need to simplify the amount of baskets that I am currently holding. So for me, that unfortunately was putting my book series on the back burner, not indefinitely, but just so I could focus on my content creation and my video content specifically. And I think that was a good call, because I do miss writing. I very much want to get back to that. But at the same time, I cannot spread myself too thin with what I want to be doing. And for me, I was having a lack of energy. And that just wasn't something that, felt worth it to be doing all these different things. So I had to simplify. And with that means I can focus more on the things that I actually need to be doing. Like the content creation. How can I get clear? How can I clarify? How can I get clear so I can move forward? How can I get clear so I can move forward? So I can balance my masculine and my feminine energies. I need to be able to properly relax and rest without thinking, oh, I need to be doing something more. So the answer to that is slow down. Slow down what you're doing, do less. But do less, but be more focused, is what I believe that is wanting you to realize, myself included. The next card is partnership. It's a pair of lovebirds. So I think what in tandem with the other cards here, I think I kind of want to actually circle back to that one. I have an idea of what that means, but I want to circle back to that one because I think there's going to be there's another card here that has birds in it, and it's kind of very similar. So I'm gonna circle back to this partnership card. Okay, so the next card we have is it's ascendant, and it says entrance. What you want your younger self to know is that what I want my younger self to know, what you probably want your younger self to know, is you don't have to know where to start. You just have to start. It's frustrating at times because a lot of people believe you have to know, like you have to have your whole plan laid out in front of you, and that is not the case. Like you just have to have a plan, a semi-cohesive plan, and just start, because your plan's going to change now, no matter how well thought out it is. It's going to change, like hands down. It's going to change. You're going to change along with your plan, and the thing that you want to do is going to change. There's no two ways about it. So the best thing that you could have done for yourself was just start. The best thing, think about anything that you have actually progressed in life that you're passionate about. The best thing that you and yourself did for your present self was start that path. And you can look back and reflect on where you were when you started the thing that you are passionate about, and see the growth in the ups and downs and twists and turns that you've had. It was not what you thought it was going to be, was it not? So I think with this entrance card, it's really a reminder, I believe, for your younger self, for you to go back to your younger self and be like, thank you for just starting. Thank you for getting me to this point. I got it from here. Even if you don't feel like you got it, you got it. You have to have it. You just be kind of nonchalant about it. You have to have it. So, and I think you got it. The next card is Conjunction. It says Alliance, and this was the Bird card, and I think that this Bird card, Alliance in conjunction, literally it says conjunction with the Partnership card that has the birds on it, is really about collaboration and, you know, partnership on many levels, romantic and platonic and entrepreneurial. I can never say that word. in business together, like who it is that you surround yourself with, what your younger self want. What you wanted your younger self to know was you needed to choose your company wiser. You like everybody that we thought were friends were not friends, and that is okay. People grow apart, and you know, you want different things, and life happens, but don't beat yourself up about that. The people that are meant to be in your life will align with you, and you will align with them through shared interests and manifestations and shared goals. And a lot of times people come in our life for seasons. That's, you know, very real. I have a lot of connections in the past that were only temporary, and they hurt like hell to let go of, but they propelled me forward and helped me realize what I do and don't want in my future connections. And I think when it comes to like love specifically, what you wanted, what your younger self wanted you to know, what you want your younger self to know is that your time is coming, your person is coming, and you needed to sift through the people that just weren't right for you to figure out what it is you want, and in that person, and where you would like for them to be to meet you. Because that's another part of it. Like you're only responsible for your half of what you bring to the table. You can't be responsible for what somebody else brings to the table. And if they're not bringing what you're bringing, or you're not vibing, you're not meshing, you're not equally bringing things to the table, then how much can you actually grow together? How much can you actually heal and learn from each other if y'all can't be on that same kind of accord? And I wish that I had thought about that when I was younger. Not that, I regret any of the connections I've ever had. It's just a few in particular I wish I would have seen, oh, this person isn't bad by any means. It's just that they can't grow with me on the same level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, as maybe somebody else that's better suited for me can. And that's okay. It took having those connections for me to get to that point to realize that. And bringing it to the close, I have 3 cards from a different deck. So the Share Your Voice, it says come out the closet, persecution, expression. And I have these as kind of the clarifying cards, these 3 last cards for the overall tone of the deck. So what you wanted your younger self to know was, it's okay to speak your voice, to share your truth. It's okay to come out of the closet, to come out of the cave. It's okay to be seen, because on the other side of being seen is an immense amount of love. even if it took some time for you to get there, for self-love, for other people to see you. They wouldn't have seen you if you stayed in the closet. They wouldn't have seen you if you stayed in the cave. They wouldn't have seen you if you kept your mouth shut. They wouldn't have seen you if you decided not to shine your light. You wouldn't have seen you. I think that when you're younger, it's very easy to get caught up in what everybody else is doing, and you want to, not stand out so much, but it's vastly important to have your own different, like, pep in your step, your own secret sauce, your own recipe to life and how you do things, because that makes you unique and different. And what you got going on, nobody else got going on. And what you bring to the table, nobody else can bring to the table. And that's amazing. And I think people need to uplift themselves a little bit more when it comes to their uniqueness. And our younger selves, especially our, like, high school selves, like, we didn't want to be different. We wanted just to be like, we just wanted to fit in and have everybody think we're cool. But the only true way to be cool is just to feel like you're cool yourself, and that's really it. Because if you feel like you're cool, if you know you're cool and you act like you're cool, other people will treat you like you're cool. Because people treat us like how we treat ourselves, essentially. How we think about ourselves is how people usually tend to think about us. Not all the times, but most of the time, people project back to us what we project out. So you think you're a loser. People probably think you're a loser if you think you are a loser. Okay, second card. The second to last card. Imrama says, where are you being called to journey to? What you wanted your younger self to know is you have a purpose here. I don't know why I'm laughing. You have a purpose here. It's hard when you're younger, specifically, because it's very easy to feel like none of this matters. And, on a infinitesimal level, maybe none of this does matter. But I think that's a very bleak outlook on life. Because if you get caught up in the none of this matters, then it's very to be like, okay, well, what's the point? What's the point of doing this? What's the point of doing that? What's the point of trying? What's the point of living? And that can lead you down a very dark path. And so, in lieu of that, I would say definitely flip it to be like, well, what's my purpose? What do you feel like you're here to do? And you only get clearer on why you're here, what you're meant to be doing here, as you get older, as you live life, as you have experiences, as you try things, as you fail at things, as you succeed at things, and as you love, as you lose, as you grow and falter. And I think it's a beautiful experience to have all these mistakes and these goals and manifestations, and to realize, oh, maybe I got this thing that I really wanted, but maybe I really didn't want it. I wanted it because of X, Y, and Z, because so-and-so had it, or because I thought this would make me happy. But you realize deep down something else simpler made you happy. This whole thing is just about figuring out what makes you happy. And it's a lot easier to answer the older you get. Last card here is the boundaries card. And girl, I can tell you, like I said at the beginning of the video, I wish I had boundaries. I wish I knew about boundaries. I wish. As someone that was a people pleaser for most of my life, up until my spiritual journey, really, where I was like, okay, I have to break out of this because it is draining. So I did the work. I broke out of it. I started saying no to people. I started saying yes to myself. Every time you say yes to somebody else, you say no to yourself when it's something that you really don't want to do. I spoke about that in one of my last videos. When you work on the things that you need to be doing, you understand what you need to give to yourself and what you cannot give to others. And what you would like for others to give to you, or to meet you halfway, if you want the connection to work. And it is really about understanding where your lack of boundaries stem from. For a lot of us, we're empaths, meaning, yes, there's a lot of gifts that come with being empathic, but there's also a very dark side to being empathic, and that is trauma based. For most of us, we're empaths because of our childhood. Something happened in our childhood or adolescence that made it feel unsafe, so we had to start scanning our environment to see how it was okay to feel. For me, I grew up with a guardian that wasn't the best, and when I was with my mother for a short while, that kind of only worsened. And I grew up basically with narcissists, and it wasn't their fault. I don't know how far back all of that went, the generational trauma, but it was up to me to break it, because with where I'm going, the legacy that I'm leaving behind, that I know that I'm leaving behind, it's had to stop with me and my older sister. We had to put in the work to be like, all right, we're not people pleasing anymore. We're going to learn to have boundaries. We're not going to let narcissists dictate how we proceed in life. We're not going to say yes to everybody and everything under the sun. We're going to work on ourselves. We're going to work on our businesses. We're going to give back. We're going to be about our soul mission. We're going to say it loud with our chests. And to do all of that, you really have to work on self. Like, none of this works without the other. Like, it's very hard to have boundaries if you don't have clarity. It's very hard to share your voice if you don't know why you're sharing it. It's very hard to have balance if you're not even putting any work. It's very hard to have partners if you don't know where you're going in life, because if you just have partnerships and you don't know anything about your soul purpose, your life mission, about what you want, about what you want to leave behind, about what you want to give back to people and contribute, then your partnerships are going to reflect that. And more often than not, they're going to be very unsatisfied, because you're likely going to attract partners that reflect the same thing back to you, that they don't know what they want out of life. And I don't really know how y'all can grow together if y'all aren't willing to put in that effort into yourselves first. So all of this works together. And also, I just wanted to point out that I do have this green amethyst on my shop, as well as this sun and moon selenite charging plate. But I really wanted to just point out that the green amethyst, I didn't know that there was green amethyst, y'all. Like, this is dope. Like, I love amethyst, but green amethyst specifically is very much for opening up the heart chakra. And I had that on there, and I think it was just a sign for me to tell y'all just to continue to have your heart open, or just, if you feel like you don't have your heart open, do what you can to work towards opening it up, because it's very hard to have opportunities flow into your life if you're closed off, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, whatever the case may be. Like, it's your person could be around the corner, and if your heart is closed, they might bypass you, because maybe they're looking for somebody that has their heart open. Your soul mission might be around the corner, but if you're not ready to receive it, it might go to somebody else that's ready for it. The moves that you want to make, if you're not ready for them, they're going to go to somebody else. Opportunity is always around us, but if you are not ready, energy is going to flow to somewhere else where it is being received. So I just wanted to have y'all keep that in mind. Work on getting your heart chakra open, honey. Okay. And that is all that I have for y'all today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Give me a comment down below and tell me what you would tell your younger self. I'm really curious, because there's so much that I think that we can't even really fit into one video about what we would tell our younger selves. And the person that I used to be when I was so much younger was very, very, very different. She would have been in awe of the person I am today, of what I have today. And believe it or not, I'm in awe of what I have today from just earlier this year, from where I was earlier this year. Yeah. I manifested a lot of what I wrote down earlier this year. I have right now. And if I don't have it, I'm working on it. And I think that is the key to life. It's just being happy with who you are, actively manifesting, which involves putting in effort and time and focus into what you want to do, and not just wishing and hoping and dreaming. And I'm just going to end it on that note. But like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you would want to tell your younger self, or even if it's just the version of you that was like, 2 months ago. But more specifically, when you're a teenager maybe, or just a young adult. Go ahead and give me a follow on my Instagram. I'm more active on my Instagram than any place else. It's Etherically Naomi, so the same handle. And let me know that you're coming from my YouTube, because I would love to chat with people. And I mean I only have like a few followers right now, but that's gonna change here real soon. And happy holidays. I don't really celebrate the holidays, but this year, with my grandmother having passed only a few months ago, I really wanted to make it a point to hang out with my sister, because I think I value family and connection and happiness and just authenticity and just good times. And if we can have that, even if you don't celebrate the holidays, I think it's important to just come together and have that, especially during this time of year where it is just really, really drab and dreary and cold. But yeah, love you guys. Bye.